Rowell. I am a senior manager on our product marketing team. I've actually been at Looker for over 5 years now, and so it's really been a pleasure to watch the product grow and expand to be able to support more workflows and more use cases. And for the past 2 years, I've been really focused on how Looker can help marketers and help marketing departments do better analytics. So now that I've told you a little bit about myself, I want to know a little bit about you guys. How many people in the audience are marketers? Oh, hi, guys. How many people in the audience are analysts or anything else that help marketers do analytics? Great. Did a good job planning for this presentation. Cool. So let's talk about workflows. It's important to think about that. Oh, sorry. I've really simplified this down. So we have a very basic workflow that we're going to walk through. It basically goes through asking a question and getting into Looker, answering that question in Looker, and going and doing something with that information. So we're talking about workflows, so it's important to remember that in order to design for a workflow, we have to understand the workflow. And this sounds really intuitive, but Looker is a very product-focused org, and so it's a little bit easy to get focused on that. So let's talk about the idea of a workflow of a marketer in Looker. So they have a question that requires them to enter Looker. Maybe it's an email alert, maybe it's a dashboard that they've bookmarked. Whatever it is, they're getting into the product. At that point, they're in Looker, and they're trying to answer their question. So in the case of that bookmarked dashboard, maybe it's just checking in on the tile. Maybe it's going one step further and adjusting the filter to get a little bit more detail. Or maybe it's even diving in deeper and exploring. That said, though, at some point, we hope that they find the answer to the question and are able to go then do something with that information, whether that's in Looker or in a different product. So this is a marketer's workflow in Looker. The fundamental problem with what I just pointed out is that I just put a person into a workflow for a product. And we are designing for marketers, not for Looker. And so with that in mind, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what a marketer's workflow looks like, so you can actually think about who that person is that you're designing for and what it is that they're experiencing when they get into Looker. So, story. I'm on the product marketing team, and we are responsible for all of the content you see here at Join. So we spend a lot of time putting together the agenda, trying to make sure that we not only have great content, but we also have the right content. And so a lot of that is, talking to the product team, figuring out what they want to talk to us about, talking to, the support team, really trying to understand what the content is that we have to work with. And throughout this process, we pop into Looker. Maybe it's what is the technical capability of this audience? Like, let's go look at the titles that we had from last year. Do we have a good mix of stuff? Okay, like let's go look at the industries we had covered. Can we repeat this session that we had last year? What was the repeat purchase rate? So we're seeing that Looker is driving a huge part of this agenda creation, but it's driving it at moments. And it's a moment in time when a marketer wants to be in Looker, and that's what we're designing for, and that's the workflow that we're thinking about. So now that we have that frame of reference and know this is just a teeny tiny little blip on someone's day, let's think about, I'm going to walk you through really a way to optimize for each of these stages. So for proactive information delivery, we're going to talk about less is more for explorers. And then finally, I'm going to walk you guys through that application that I just demoed on the stage. All right, proactive information. It's a little bit of a weird idea. So one of my favorite features in Looker is the scheduling functionality. It's so useful and it's so powerful to drive adoption of the tool. But the thing about it is that I don't love this functionality because it puts data in my inbox and I have the data that I need to do my job. It's that it helps me keep tabs on the things that are important to me and helps me better understand the world that I'm living in through data to make better decisions. So a couple months ago, our product manager came over to our marketing pod, and she asked, if you could have any data delivered to your inbox, what would you have? So crickets. Well, we'd like to know registration info, but we get that from our system already. And so what we have there is we have a solution. We want to put data in your inbox in search of a question. What do you want? Fundamentally, it doesn't work. And so that conversation evolved. And what it turned into was, what are the things that you wish you knew about the world? What are the moments in time that you wish you better understood and could better, respond to things for? And at that point, what we've done is we've taken the idea of, I want to be in the loop, and found a solution in Looker. And so what we did is we created an email alert. And so this is not only for when people register for the event, we took it one step further and gave our events team an alert for when someone closes a deal that was influenced by the event that they planned, right? It's one step further and really informing as opposed to giving data. Let's talk about explores. So less is more, but first I'm going to take a little side detour. In 2000, there was a study done around choice. So basically what they did is that in a grocery store, on random days, they either set up 6 samples of jams or 24 samples. They monitored what happened when people came in and how they reacted. And what they found is that on the days that there are 24, people tried more jam. Not surprising. But people actually bought more on the days that there were only 6. And arguably more importantly, the people who purchased a jar of jam on the day when there were only 6 samples were significantly happier with their purchase. Okay, so how does this relate to Looker? Think of an explorer. Think of an explorer in your environment, and think how many different ways there are to define a single field. I went into one of our explorers, and to follow this idea of the event, right, that our event marketer got the alert for, maybe what she wants to know is, okay, well, where is this person? Great, I want to go into Looker, I want to take this a step further, and I want to find out where they are. So I'm going to type in state. So a little bit too much information here, because I can figure it out. I can figure out that I probably don't want the contract state, but why are there so many options? Because additionally, someone took the time to suggest that this state is actually probably the best one because it's a combination of multiple. So then what I did is I went into the Marketing Explorer, and I found this wonderful mailing state. So by taking down those options, you create a tailored experience for people, and it gives them something that they're much happier with and they have far more confidence in. And that's really where you guys come in as analysts and as in data, because your job is not only to choose 6 jars of jam, it's to choose the best 6 jars of jam and the absolute right 6 jars of jam that will cover 80% of the toast. All right, so finally we get to do. As you guys saw on the main stage this morning, we're introducing applications. And the notion of applications is that we've basically tried to take Looker and tailor it and adjust it to fit a certain workflow. So the digital marketing application is built for a digital marketer's workflow. We've really tried to put everything in there that will help them to better understand their world and to hopefully take action from that. I don't know if I said this morning, but it's in a public beta right now, and we're hoping to bring it into general availability sometime early next year. I'm going to switch over to a demo, and I'm going to just kind of like walk you through a few of these workflows. It's the same, there we go. It's the same product that I showed this morning, but just from a different vantage. So what you'll already see is that when the most stable version of this application basically has fewer sets of data, but I wanted to show you guys like kind of the next iteration of it. So we have a number of other sources that have been added to our cross-channel dashboard here. As I said, it's in beta. We're still adding things every day. And so the workflow that this is set for is that you have someone in a marketing position that's maybe a little bit higher level who sees that they're spending $5 million on AdWords or on digital marketing in general and wants to know where the heck that $5 million is going. They can go in and they can see what's going on, maybe spot some outliers and figure out there are places to dig in. but just to get a general feeling of spend. Now, because this is Looker, this is all drillable, and this is all explorable, but to adapt for workflows, we've really done that idea for you. So the next place that we want to go to is maybe the overview of Google Ads. So maybe this is the person that only owns Google Ads, and this is, please work. There we go. So now we're just looking at Google Ads. High-level view, what are we spending on, how's it going? We have this period, we have our prior period. As with this, it's selected by the last 28 days to start to get situated in our Google Ads. And then to pop over to this campaigns tab. So this is really where the meat of the analysis and the meat of the day-to-day work is meant to happen. And what we've done is we've created what we think at Looker is what you need, which is great, but is only so much because every business is different. So you'll see that there's a little edit button here. Every piece of content on this dashboard is editable and can have not only the metrics changed, but can also bring in data from other places in your Looker instance to be able to tie that in with this digital marketing data and make it a more rich experience. We also, to accommodate workflows, have sharing and scheduling built in here. Again, this idea of trying to get proactive and show people what they need before they think that they need it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this campaigns tab. Hopefully people will find this. I find this campaigns tab very exciting. This new filter is really beautiful in my mind, but I'm a nerd. And we can start to sort this and really get an idea and a reference point and choose things that are valuable. But in this situation, I am a North American digital marketing manager. So I'm going to select all these. I'm going to apply my selections, and we can see that the whole thing is filtering and reloading. Great. So again, we have our KPIs at the top. We can click over into other ones. Those are taking some time to load. I think I had hardwired internet up there. Right, but we can start to see this by strategy, by bid device. And the idea here is that we can identify some problematic things and really dig into them before they happen. So if I'm really interested in figuring out what happened in New Mexico, I can see this and I can see the number, but I can also, because it's Looker, drill in to start to explore that data and start to get more context around it to create a little better understanding for me on what's going on. There we go. So this is all available to marketers. You'll notice that there's a lot more fields here. As I said, the great piece of this is that you can tie your own data back in. So maybe we see that spend is up in New Mexico, but what's going on with purchasing? What's going on with the other parts of the data? The great piece is bringing that back in and tying it in and starting to get even more of a picture rather than just that cross-channel. All right, going back. I opened them in other tabs just in case. Finally, we have this optimizations view. So I'm going to give this to you guys for another 1 minute, and then I'm open up to questions for all of you that want to know more about this. But basically, the idea here is that we've bubbled to the top the things we need. So I, as a marketer, can come in here and be like, great, I have 5 minutes. What can I do that's going to make a difference right now? Let me turn these 3 ads off. Maybe it makes a small difference. Either way, I've done something immediate, and I got it right from my tool, and it was given to me right where I needed it, when I need it. So that concludes my presentation on analytic workflows.